Hi guys, and welcome to a new photography video. Now in this video I'm going to be showing you how to enhance your city and landscape photography. Now of course this tutorial is going to be showing you my way of doing it. Now there's going to be thousands of different ways that, each tutorial on YouTube will teach you how to edit your photos and what will look good. Now this is a photo I took in London. Now on my camera I had my white balance set to more of a fluorescent colour, so it was more kind of blue rather than warm. So the first thing I'm going to edit is the temperature. So here on the right hand side of Camera Raw, now the Camera Raw will open if you open a RAW file in Photoshop. It will automatically open Camera Raw. So what I'm going to do first is fiddle around with the temperature and bring back those warm colours like this, but not too much as to overly warm the colour like this, because that wouldn't look too great. So maybe around here. Now I'm going to leave the exposure the same, but what I'll do is I'm going to up the contrast a bit too. Then what I tend to do is I tend to lower the highlights all the way to -100 and up the shadows to +100. Now you see what that does is it elevates the shadows, so you get to see more details, and also when you lower the highlights you get to see more elements of the sky and reflections and stuff like that, and it looks really nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the vibrance and then maybe add some clarity. And then I'll fiddle around with the blacks. Now this isn't really specific. I don't really have a certain level that I add the blacks and the whites. I don't really have a certain, for each photo I take it's going to be different no matter what, because obviously each photo has different amounts of whites and blacks. So I'll just fiddle around and see what looks good. Obviously the more you enhance the whites, the less you're going to see of the sky, and it's going to look more overexposed. So I'm going to leave it around the normal setting of the default 0. For blacks, I don't know, I'm probably going to introduce a few, introduce more blacks by lowering the black scale here, and I've put it on around -54. But obviously there's no point in me giving you numbers and figures because your photo is going to be completely different. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the basic settings on Camera Raw. I'll play around with the exposure a bit. I think that looks pretty good. Now let's see, maybe add a little bit more vibrance or saturation there. So what that's done is it's turned quite a plain, colourless photo into this really vibrant, nice looking scene. Now what I might do as well is just adjust that a little bit more. Now also I want to tell you that this photo is a RAW photo. Probably should have said this at the beginning of the video, but anyway, that doesn't really matter. This photo is a RAW photo. If you try and do this with a JPEG image, you're going to get destruction and elements of your photo that are going to get little artifacts and issues with the photo. RAW is what you want to shoot in if you want to be able to edit like this and bring back the highlights and shadows and all this kind of stuff. If you shoot in JPEG, this just won't be possible. And if you want to look up more about why to shoot in RAW and JPEG, I actually did a video about it. So the advantages of both RAW and JPEG and the disadvantages of both, and that's in a video linked in the description. Now anyway, carrying on with the photo. What I'm going to do now is head over to sharpening. Now you'll see this with the two little triangles on the little options bar here. I'm not going to add too much, just enough just to sharpen it up a bit. See, if you add too much, what you want to do is you want to zoom in, and you see this really bad detail kind of, it really destroys the photo if you add too much sharpening. So don't want to add too much. If you're worried about it, maybe add some noise reduction, and that will also get rid of the noise. Also up the detail as well. So I'll go back to my standard photo size, and as you can see that looks really nice. It's punchy, it's vibrant, and there's plenty of other settings you can add as well. You can also add lens correction. Now if you know what lens you've got, you know what camera you have, you can add the lens correction, and it does it for you itself in the program, which is kind of nice. You can also adjust it yourself with the distortion to see what you need to do. You can also add vignetting as well. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. It's just quickly showing you how you can add certain effects to your photos in Camera Raw. Again, my own way of doing it is to lower the highlights all the way down and the shadows all the way up to kind of bring out all the details of the picture. But you can play around with it. I mean, you can adjust the highlights however you like, really. And as you can see, adjusting the shadows really does make a difference, and so does adjusting the highlights. But they're my settings anyway on the side there. And that's pretty much it. I hope this video has been useful. As I said, and as with every tutorial, everyone's picture is going to be different. It's all going to, it's all up to you playing around with your photo and seeing what looks good. Not all photos are going to look the same. If I give you a bunch of settings, not all of them are going to come out looking good, and not all of them are going to come out looking, how you'd probably want them to look. So it's all to do with experimentation and how you want your picture to look after you fiddle around with the settings. No certain setting is always going to be right or wrong. So just play around. If you want your picture to be more vibrant, add more vibrance. And you get this kind of HDR kind of style, especially if you add more clarity, you get this kind of HDR look. And it's all just, up to you and your personal preference. Some people might even like black and white and have no saturation at all and have a picture like this. But it's completely up to you. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, and I look forward to seeing you in another photography video shortly. Also, remember to subscribe for more videos so you don't miss my next video. I'll see you guys in another video soon.